Hey Liz, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Robot. Oh my God. We are so happy to have you back with us. Where have you been?
Oh, just fighting them tariffs.
Are you going toe to toe with the tariffs?
I'm going to toe with China tariffs, put it that way.
Uh, that's so funny. What do you have for us?
So just recently I watched this video on the Sean Ryan show, who by the way I don't think is a very good interviewer, and for some reason he has millions of followers. But he interviewed Eric Hecker, this guy who apparently went in front of Congress and testified, um, history, you could say. And I want to basically probe his history, what he did in the South Pole in Antarctica, and then things relating to what I'm going to dive into. So let's kind of start. I want to leave it a little open-ended and drill down as we go on, just so you stay out of the loop and we utilize your psychic prowess to its full extent.
Oh my God. Okay, that picture in the background is like creep factor 10
Oh, I know,
plus
right?
plus
What the
plus.
heck, right?
What is that?
I, honestly, it might be the Sean Ryan because he honestly looks kind of like a boxer. I have a feeling
Oh.
he might be maybe just ex-military or something, but whatever. Anyways, he's kind of like a different version of the other famous guy.
Oh, Joe Rogan, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Joe Rogan. He's basically the same
Okay.
exact thing, but whatever. Anyways, this well, okay, so to give Sean Ryan credit though, what's really cool about Sean Ryan is he's giving people like this guy airtime, and I don't think Joe Rogan, this is him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Joe Rogan would meet this guy. But so that's what's cool about him. So check him out, whatever. Anyways, his name is Eric Hecker, and I would like to start with just a probe into his mind. We're gonna dive in and see if first of all his claims are true, because if they're not true, then we don't even have to dive into it. So we'll start there. If you could actually just probe into Eric Hecker's mind, psyche, whatever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've got him here.
Okay, so the first step is to ask him, did he work at the South Pole?
Did you work at the South Pole? Yes, he did.
Awesome. That coincides with what he says. Um, did he become friends with a lot of people there who had high clearances, high clearance badges?
Were you friends with people there? A lot of people there that had high security. Yes.
So that's what's really interesting about this video. Anyone can go and look, just type in Eric Hecker on Sean Rand's show. He doesn't name any names,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole time he's very vague about the information. And he alludes to the idea that he gets it from his friends that he worked with in the South Pole. So let's actually probe just all the basics. Was he a firefighter?
Were you a firefighter? Yes.
Okay, and then let's jump forward a little bit. Ask him why the South Pole would hire him.
Why would the South Pole hire you? Because he's fit for the job. He has a lot of experience. It's also scientific. There's a lot of science behind firefighting as well. So dealing in those types of extreme temperatures, your resources are very, very different. And
Yeah.
you have to, what he's saying to me is you have to put a lot of fires out with chemicals.
Well, when you actually mentioned that, I was just thinking about how smart this guy is. He is not your average firefighter. He sounds like a scientist, and
Yeah.
reasonably so. He was hired at stuff you would need over top secret. You would need like I think they call it cosmic clearance. So I have a
Hmm.
feeling that people at this facility might have had like higher than top secret type clearances, like maybe perhaps um, as a ignorant individual in society, I call it, and public calls it cosmic clearance. Uh, can you ask him if anyone there had cosmic clearance?
Did anyone there have cosmic clearance? Well, he's saying it's high security. It's like a certain level.
Okay, so this is actually what we're going to pull in. Let's pull in Bashar
Okay.
and let me know when he's available.
Oh, he's been here.
No way,
He's been
really?
waiting. Yeah. He's been waiting for you to call on him.
Okay, so now we have to ask who else is waiting.
Meredith.
Cool. Is that it?
So what would you like to know with Re Bashar?
Sorry, I think our audio cut out. I was just asking, is it just Bashar and Meredith?
No, there's some old lady here as well. Um, she has a very dark past.
Can you can you ask her if she is a cryptid?
Are you a cryptid? I can be whatever you want me to be.
Ask her if she's friends with a Bashar.
Are you friends with Bashar? No,
Okay, then I don't know who that is. But
she's actually someone that follows you around.
awesome. I love it.
You
We're
don't mind that. I know you don't.
we're gonna utilize her.
Okay.
We'll tap into that dark past when we get to the dark stuff. So let's ask Bashar, does he think in the South Pole there's advanced technology that we don't know about?
A dense technology?
Advanced, like advanced
Oh,
technology.
advanced. I'm sorry. Is there advanced technology? Yes. Very advanced, secret, underground.
Oh, I love that you said underground. Can you ask Bashar if there are extremely secret uh so I'm trying to word this in such a way where an alien, because they're not going to understand all our clearance levels. Are there very, very secure secret levels of information at the South Pole?
Very, secure secret levels of it. Yes, extreme secrecy. Extreme.
Awesome. Okay, so that's validating Eric Hecker at the moment. So now I can dive in and explain to the audience what this video kind of will go down the path of. Eric Hecker, firefighter, and then let's just say expert with technology, uh, was commissioned to work at the South Pole. And since he's a firefighter, he is allowed to have the key to every room available.
Hmm.
And he worked there for a while. I don't know how long he worked there, but he was there. There's a lot of photos of him there, and there's some very interesting things about, for example, no-fly zones, etc., that he knows about within the area. And we're going to dive into the technology that he leaks in this video. So,
Okay.
the premise is that he talks about um, directed energy weapons, directed energy utilities, however you want to describe it. As many people are familiar with HARP, HAARP, High Altitude Aerial Research Facility or phenomenon. HARP, most people think is our biggest uh, facility, but according to him, the one at the South Pole is the biggest in the world. HARP, um, I would say maybe a percentage of your audience is very familiar with HARP. There's a lot of conspiracies about it. We can totally dive into that, but for now, let's just leave it at it's something that is um, referenced as just being like a telescope, but also has an output capability. And the output capability is what's scary. Because when you can beam this much energy at the atmosphere and bounce it back at people, that is the question, is what happens. But anyways, let's go back to Eric. Can you ask him if his knowledge about what happens in relation to earthquakes is true?
Your knowledge about what happens in relation to earthquakes, is that true? As far as he's aware, I think that we need to ask Bashar,
Yeah.
is his knowledge of what he says regarding earthquakes. Yes, it's absolutely 100% correct.
Wow. That is insane to hear that from Bashar. Um, so this is an acronym that Google isn't going to be very familiar with. It's called a DOM, or
Well, it
whatever.
looks like right.
So,
So what
okay,
is
so
a DOM?
it's a, ooh, I think detection is the first word. Detection, observance on the molecular level or something.
Oh,
And so at the South Pole, there is an array very similar to this array. So this is HARP. Everyone, well, I would like to think a lot of people are very familiar with HARP. This type
I
of an
think most
array,
of, yeah.
they put into ice at the South Pole. But the difference is over here, these are like capturing airwaves or radio waves or whatever. But at the South Pole, they're actually these, uh, as Eric describes, size of a basketball thing that looks like a bunch of crystals. And they're, I think he said it's like 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer or something. Um, Anyone can go listen to this if they want, are very curious. And anyways, this basketball like thing functions in this same way to an extent. But what's interesting is, so first of all, they call them a DOM. I forgot what it means, but what's there? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this thing. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this bar up here?
I'm not where.
So first of all, these things are the size of a basketball. They are basically like cameras, and they can see a blue light at the atomic level. So let's just say there's a quasar out in space, and it's shooting out um, neutrinos. So basically, let's just say like a sun is blowing up like 100 light years away. It's shooting out neutrinos, and scientists put a huge array of sensors up just for the declaration of science, taxpayer money. It's much more than that. They don't really care about the neutrinos from a decaying star. What's really interesting is that apparently, according to Eric, is that neutrinos are actually given off by he calls them exotic craft. So
Hmm.
what he's really alluding to are non-Earth made vehicles So, for example, he says, "Hey, we all have a what do they call it? Like the air traffic alert tower at an airport,
Mm-hmm.
air traffic control." So he equates the South Pole as to being the air traffic control for exotic craft, which emit neutrinos, which is what happens when you start dealing with anti-gravity. So he says, "Hey, we have a whole world of planes in the sky. We're tracking it. This is just the next level. This is how we track crafts on the Earth is by their neutrinos." So let's actually ask that as a question. Can we ask Bashar, can we track a UFO via its neutrino emission?
Track a UFO with neutrino imaging. Yes.
And since we have an alien on the hook, can you ask? Yeah, in case anyone doesn't know in the audience, Bashar is from the planet. Oh man, totally, totally escaping my mind right now. But people, people can look into Bashar if they want. But why does a UFO emit neutrinos?
Why does the UFO emit neutrinos? It's the pollution.
Okay, so pollution. Let's equate it to an alien's definition. Just scanning our books, the decay. It's kind of like a radioactive decay of these elements. Can we ask him if this is our best choice of tracking UFOs is through neutrinos?
This is our best choice of tracking UFOs through neutrinos. No.
Oh, well, on that note, can you ask him if on planet Earth, is there a better technology than what's happening in the South Pole to track UFOs?
Zero better. Yes, there's something that is built in space that is tracking the craft traffic. Is it US based? I don't even feel like it's US based. I feel it's Russian based.
Is it a satellite?
Is it like a satellite? I mean, you could say it's a bit of a satellite, but it is in an area where there's a lot of high craft traffic.
But is it on the planet or off planet?
Is it on planet Earth? No, no, it's in space.
So you actually just reminded me of a very important part that Eric mentions. I might as well dive into that now. He mentions that there's off-planet, um, what does he call it? Let's just say, imagine a ship full of people. Ships. Are there ships with humans outside of Earth, to
Are
Bashar?
there ships with humans outside of Earth? Yes.
Wow. So we are totally validating some of Eric's claims because in this video he mentions that we, or actually someone hacked NASA and found the pilot, or sorry, the captain's names of several, let's just call them fleets, of several fleets of humans who are off planet. And kind of the point that I'm trying to narrow in on is the vast array of technology that can be done with high energy type places. So what? So he essentially explains, long story short, is that at the South Pole is our technology to communicate with off-world bases and track exotic crafts, and also something else that we can dive into right now, which is
Hmm.
actually um, earthquakes. So can we ask Bashar if at the South Pole, is there technology that can cause an earthquake on Earth?
Is there technology that can cause and yes,
Wow. So we're totally validating Eric right now because in this video, he explains that in the early beginning of the year, I don't know, 2011 or something, um, they accidentally created an earthquake, I think in New Zealand twice, uh, while they were turning on their machine. Can we ask Bashar if that's accurate?
did they accidentally turn on an earthquake twice in New Zealand? Yes,
So the way you answered yes, I feel like Bashar said a little bit more. What else did Bashar say?
he was just saying how dangerous it was.
So here's what's interesting is so since he's kind of like low level, but around these people, he doesn't actually know how it caused the earthquake. Can we ask Bashar, did the technology go through the earth or did it bounce off the atmosphere and then touch down there to cause the earthquake?
Did you go through the earth? No, it didn't go through the earth. And what was the second part? I'm sorry.
Oh, did the energy go to the atmosphere and then bounce down towards New Zealand to cause the earthquake?
Did the energy go into the atmosphere and bounce down? Yes.
So this is what it would look like. So there is a huge array and they beam it at the ionosphere and apparently with just simple math, obviously, I'm just kidding, they can pinpoint where the energy bounces back at and cause something to happen. Let's
Oh,
actually let's ask Bashar if HARP has caused any earthquakes ever on Earth.
has HARP ever caused any earthquakes ever on Earth? Not major ones, but tremors, yes.
Okay, so now we need to dig into because no one really knows because people don't talk. Uh, I think they usually have like a 65-year NDA. But why does energy beamed up and then down cause an earthquake?
Why does the energy beamed up and down cause the earthquake? Because it's the rate of speed that it's being beamed back down.
So you know what's so awesome about using a rate of speed is in simpler, much more refined vocabulary, it would be called a harmonic. Can you ask Bashar if it's causing a harmonic with a with a with a tectonic plate?
Is it causing a harmonic with a tectonic plate? Yes.
So this is a perfect example of if you have a uh what do they call them? They're harmonized little instruments. A tuning fork. So you hit one tuning fork. This is such a cool phenomenon. So okay, wait, here we go. Resonance. This is what it is. So you get tuning fork A and it is at a specific frequency, let's just say 432 hertz. Just for fun, because our audience is going to be familiar with that frequency, because it is a frequency that can heal you. But anyways, let's just say this is tuned to that frequency and you hit it, another tuning fork next to it will start vibrating. due to resonance. It starts resonating with
Hmm.
24K. Can you ask Bashar if this is the method in which earthquakes are caused through resonance?
Is this the method that earthquakes are caused through resonance? Yes.
By the way, friends and family, I am not a scientist. I'm just taking a lot of good guesses here. But that's how I would expect it to work, considering you are contacting an object that is away from you. And there's frequency, as Liz just mentioned. Frequency means vibration. So there's a vibration most likely hitting the atmosphere, diving deep into the ground and vibrating a tectonic plate, which may cause an earthquake. But anyways, they do not claim this is what this is for. They claim it's just for research purposes. Um, let's dive into this facility just a little bit. Ooh, a DOM. Here it is. DOM, a digital optical module. Um, so the blue light is given off when a neutrino collides with a water atom or
Okay.
electron or something, and it blows it up and creates a tiny blue flash. Let's just confirm everything here. Can we ask if Bashar if there is a blue flash when a neutrino hits like a water molecule?
Is there a blue flash when a neutrino hits the water? It's blue-green, yes.
Okay, so what's more interesting than that is how humans figure that out. Can you ask Bashar, how did humans figure that out?
How did humans figure that out? It's some sort of almost like a microscope, but not really.
But can you ask Bashar if the idea of this was given to us from like maybe aliens?
Was this idea given to humans from any aliens? No.
Yeah, it's just so interesting that we can come up with this idea because so neutrinos are so hard to spot because they actually are so small that they flow straight through. Imagine this is an atom. They actually they're so small they just fly right through an atom and they don't interact with anything. But every once in a while they hit a, let's just call it an electron or something because I'm not keen on what it hits, but it causes ever so randomly it'll hit something and it causes a tiny blue flash. And then this is what the DOM does. These are all these sensors in the ice of South Africa, or sorry, South Pole. Um, I just think it's very interesting that we came up with something that's so theoretical.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's
It took a
very
long time for them to figure this out.
okay. So look, this guy Lane Boyd says that uh, the claims are not plausible. So it's just interesting that certain scientists and professors think this might be bogus. Um,
No, it's definitely not.
deep underground. Yeah, we actually have a deep underground sensor for dark matter as well, which now I'm wondering after this interview if maybe that device is detecting something else as well. That one is called
Hmm.
so dark matter is so amazing because it's very hard to prove it's real. Um, but scientists are spending millions of dollars trying to figure this out, which, you know, starts to sound like maybe a defense budget type of thing. But I guess we can dive into that later. Um, okay, so let's just kind of dive into everything. So he says this is owned by Raytheon Technologies. Can we ask Bashar if Raytheon is the head of the South Pole, like
Is
in stuff?
Raytheon Technologies ahead of the South Pole? No, the military is.
Well, let's ask if Raytheon is a huge contributor.
Is Raytheon a huge contributor? Yes.
Well, you know what we got to do now? Liz's favorite thing, probe the person. Let's let's talk
Oh,
let's talk to the CEO of Raytheon
okay.
just to see if he knows anything about what's going on.
Okay.
So this guy's name is Chris Collio.
Hmm.
Let's just see. Let me know if you can lock in on him.
I've got him.
Are there any supernatural defense mechanisms blocking your psychic connection to him?
Ooh, are there any supernatural defense mechanisms that are blocking my connection to him? That's a no.
Okay. So it's not like that one guy from Area 51. What's his name? Bob
Bob
Lazar.
Lazar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some weird shield, major shield around him, so remote viewers could not go in there. But I mean, I just kept going back, and finally I busted through it. And that was put on around him by the CIA. It's not there anymore, or certainly it isn't for me, but he was really protected.
Okay, well, on that note, I think we have to definitely ask Bashar, is there another person on Earth that has that same protection right now?
Ooh, is there another person on Earth that has that same protection right now? Yes, and they deal with top secret information,
Okay, so
military.
so now we're gonna have Bashar flash the person's identity to you so we can probe into that person. Doesn't matter who they
Okay,
are. Um,
I've got them.
so
Their shield isn't great.
so let's ask Bashar who has the highest level shield that he can show us on Earth right now that's alive.
Who has the highest level shield? Okay, he's put forth somebody.
Okay, great. So let's probe that person.
Okay, they're a scientist
Are
for the
they
military.
are they USA or some other country?
Are they for the USA? Yeah, they're USA. They've also, have they had a mind wipe? I don't know that they've done something to their mind.
Okay, does this person remember any of their secret information or is it wiped?
Is this person remember any of their No, it's been wiped.
Okay, and then from your perspective, is the information still there that you could tap into, or is it completely gone?
So, the information is still there, but it's locked away from the person accessing those memories.
Well, I think we should do him a favor and unlock it.
Oh my God.
Let's let's give this guy some bad dreams. Can we unlock it? Can you ask Bashar if that's possible?
Can we unlock it? No.
Can Liz unlock it with her abilities?
Can I unlock it? Yes.
Okay, so we don't want to give this guy PTSD or
Hmm.
anything, but let's take off 10% of the shield to his mental capacity.
Okay, this has to do with cloning babies.
Interesting. Can you ask him if that's the only thing he's affiliated with is cloning?
Is that the only thing that you, sorry, that was deleted from him? Was
Yeah.
that the only thing that was deleted? Yes.
Okay, so can you ask him who deleted the information?
Who deleted the information? The military.
So what's really interesting is there's a TV show out right now, and I haven't seen it, that has to do with a facility and these workers, they're very high level workers, and when they go into the facility, it turns off their memory writing capability. It's a TV show, and they do their work that's top secret, and then when they leave, they have no memory of what they did, but they just know they're getting paid to go there and work because that's their like conscious self versus their work self. Can you ask him if it happened on a daily basis or if it was done after all the work was done?
Did it happen on a daily basis? Hourly basis.
Can you ask him how the government or military wipes memories?
How does the government or military wipe memories? They have a program. Is it like technology? Is it tech? I mean, it is tech. It's a tech program. And do they hook up to their brain? No. How do they do this? They connect. So can they telepathically reach into another person's mind? Yes, they can.
Yeah, what's the procedure? Maybe Bashar can give us some insight.
What is the It's using frequency.
And can you ask Bashar if this frequency is just blasted at them every hour?
Is that frequency just blasted at them every hour? No, it's not blasted at them. It's all around their work area from every corner.
Does it simply eliminate the mind from writing down memories? Because memory is stored in cells and
Mhm.
stuff. Can you ask me if it's being like if that function is turned off or if it's literally wiping it?
Oh, has it turned off the function for the ability to remember? No, it's wiping it. But are they targeted? Yes, they're targeted things. So whatever work they're doing in that facility, it's just specifically catered to work memories.
So can you ask Bashar if we can implant memories into people?
And we implant memories into people? Yes, it's very possible. Have they done that before? Yes, they have. Even
But can,
when the person didn't actually have anything to do with those memories? Yes.
what type of technology is that?
What type of technology is that? It starts with the letter A. What type of technology is that? It's something like ASP technology.
Okay, this ties in so well into another claim by our original person here. Let me find something. Um, uh, so can you ask Bashar if something like what's in the South Pole if it can transmit voices into people's heads.
Is there something, some sort of, um, what was it, like a machine?
Yeah, can the South Pole transmit like thoughts or voices into people's heads remotely?
In the South Pole, does it have the capability to transport or transplant or transmit thoughts? Transmit or
Yeah,
implant?
like it's kind of well, it's so the brain, so we're like 90% water, so it's harmonizing, it's transmitting, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of all of the above. It's doing something.
Do they have
Uh
the capability? Yes, they rarely use it, but if they needed to, and they needed to do it for a national defense reason, they can enact this technology and turn us all into soldiers.
wow. So we're totally nailing every claim by this Eric guy.
I've
So
never
he,
heard of him.
yeah, he's just a firefighter dude. Like he's not high level. He just worked there for such a while that he just heard things and saw things and now is going and like publicly announcing everything. But he says that at the South Pole we have this science that can bounce information into your head and can be localized to a whole area and basically
Mm-hmm.
used for like warfare.
Oh,
So,
no.
yep. So he says
That
these are
just gave
like,
me cold chills. Okay. Yeah,
yes,
that's exactly what I got. Okay, I've got goosebumps, cold chills, and I'm sitting in the dark.
as usual, with a
Yeah.
Mr. Robot video.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just waiting for something really creepy to happen now.
well,
I
so
can't believe that. That's what his claims were?
yeah, so in this, it's only 35 minutes long, and he goes over, this directed energy thing. I'm not going to use the W word. And then we're gonna go over this in a
Oh,
moment, and then intrusive thoughts. So he calls it when you
oh.
hear your own voice, he calls it a different voice, but they use like in movies when there's like a robber and they use a voice thing. They'll
Mm-hmm.
use your own voice with like AI to mimic what you sound like, but to have intrusive thoughts that lead you, like if you're at a fork in the path, would lead you right as opposed to what you normally wanted to do, which is left, because it sounds like your own self in your head.
OMG. That
Uh,
is some high tech stuff.
yeah, so let's dig into that. So how did we get this technology? Is this still just Earth humans
Hmm.
stuff, or did we get that by reverse engineering like aliens stuff, or how do we figure out how to implant thoughts?
How did they get the technology to implant thoughts? They use remote viewers.
Liz, I think you got a bright future. I think you can just go work apply for the
Oh my
government.
God. I'm scared to work for these people. I
I
don't,
know.
because whatever they do, they will, mind wipe me afterwards. Well, what if there's a glitch in the mind wipe and they cause to like total amnesia? I don't want to work for these people. Oh my God,
Ooh,
no.
ooh. So actually,
And
you
I
just
don't
remind
like the cold. I'm not going to the South Pole.
you actually just reminded me of a claim of his actually, somehow. He claims that McDonald's is researching how to basically play ads in your head while you're asleep through this technology. Can we ask if that's accurate?
Is McDonald's claiming, or are they researching to play ads? in people's minds while they're asleep. They're trying to develop something similar. Yes, they have not been successful, but they are trying to develop it. I mean, that's how bad things are, right? N Nobody wants to eat their food. So now they're having to like take over and hijack the consciousness during the sleep cycles in order to make you buy that horrific food. Oh my God.
Well,
Anyway,
it's all like Black Mirror, if anyone has ever seen the show Black Mirror. It's like all of our wildest dreams are coming into reality now. Um, so for example, uh, the first episode of the latest Black Mirror season shows this lady had this brain tumor and they removed it and cloned it and put it in a fresh thing. But it was hosted by the Cloud Network and she had to pay a premium to not run ads through her. So she was a teacher and she was like playing ads to the kids. And it's just such a crazy episode. And I feel like this is our
right?
future because we're validating this advertisement type thing. Because we're basically antennas. We're a
Yeah.
walking, talking antenna. So anyways, that'll be another video apparently. But
That, that's absolutely true, right?
oh yeah,
We are walking antennas. So let's ask this question. Um, what did they use the remote viewers for? Did the remote viewers know that they were being used at the time to view this information? No, they weren't sure what they were viewing.
interesting.
Well, that's true. Because, I'm sure they were they double blind? Yes. Were they American? Yes, they were. And piece by piece, they put this technology together. So let's ask this question. Is this basically the same technology as what I use for the mind probe? It's very similar.
I believe it. Okay, so let's actually dive into that aspect. Have we learned as a species how to make mind reading a technology? Have we put it into math terms where it's mathematical formula? Is there a science to psychic nature?
Is there a science to psychic nature? Yes, it's all science. And is it all done by a mathematical, a what? A mathematical equation? Yes, it's a combination. Yeah, I feel it's more physics. I mean, physics is maths, but it's not just plain mathematics, right?
Can you
It's very complex physics.
can you ask Bashar if it's quantum physics?
Is it quantum physics? No, it's much bigger than that.
Can you ask Bashar what the next level over quantum physics is? What's the next level of science beyond quantum?
What is the next level of science beyond quantum? He's saying molecular.
Well, whatever.
This is about programming on a molecular level.
Ooh, programming. So we're tapping into the consciousness of molecules, is what it sounds like.
Are we tapping into the consciousness of molecules? Yes.
How are
And
we
even
over,
atoms, yeah.
how are we overriding their parameters with our own parameters?
How are we overriding their parameters with our own parameters?
Yeah, because to dictate what something at a conscious level is doing, we have to overwrite their script, like their DNA or their their essence. So we have to overwrite a code.
Oh, so when I'm tapping into someone, am I overriding their code? I'm solving their code.
Yeah, well, that makes sense as well because I feel like if you can harmonize with someone's code, then you are like a tuning fork yourself, where you're matching their code to your own code, which is allowing your brain to see into their brain. It's kind of like what I'm thinking.
Oh, is that what I'm doing? I'm like a tuning. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I've always wondered that. How is it I can tap into anything with a consciousness at any time, right?
Hmm.
And it's because, is it because I am basically, am I doing problem solving? Yes. Am I overriding? No. I'm having to like hack in. I'm but I just it takes like not even a second, not even like if I wanted to mind probe someone in Australia, for example,
Yeah.
it doesn't even take a fraction of a second. So I don't even know what speed this is that is being used.
Well,
And there's no
uh,
language barriers.
well, that's what's awesome about when we talk to like Erudif, because we established that he's like so far away, right?
Yes. So does that mean even if there's a non-living, breathing consciousness, what exactly am I doing? Am I a tuning fork? Yeah, I'm basically hacking into the consciousness of everybody. Now, when you put it like that, excuse me, that scares a lot of people.
Well, to me, so the first thing that comes to mind is that's just the God level of thinking. It's omniscient perspective. It just means
Mhm.
that you're tapping into the 3D, the the holographic spectrum. So like there's a holographic theory of the universe. And I feel like this is what you're doing because this is how I do my Reiki. Yeah, so I can energy heal people and feel them instantly, even though they're on the other side of
Mhm.
the planet. And be really nice
Hmm.
if I could find a holographic. Let's just get a little bit more
Does
simple.
that work on the principle of electromagnetism?
Well, that's actually a great question because the definition of the holographic universe would say that everything is actually. I didn't want to type in holographic universe, but we're gonna have to. Okay, this is actually a perfect photo. So this is actually where, according to this definition, we are on a single plane of data, and everything is on the same plane. So everything is touching. Everything is a web, and the action called reality transmit. Let's just call it a crystal that does a spectrum with a rainbow. We'll call it reality. So the actual identity of the self, living, everything on the universe is a, a single plane of data, and it is ran through a filter called reality, the matrix, and it projects into a three-dimensional space, what we would see and feel and touch and hear. But the reality is this. And so I feel like you are just very widely uh, that's what's really fun about this principle is understanding that everything is connected.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask Bashar if that's how psychic stuff works? Is it through the holographic theory?
Is that how psychic stuff works through the holo? That's exactly how it works. Well done.
That's my job, solving mysteries. So how does is that how like energy healing works? Are we tapping into someone even though they're far away? Are we just learning or like the ability to just connect with someone that but they're on this holographic plane of like 2D?
Is that how we connect with someone that they're on the holographic plane of 2D? Yes. But I don't understand if it's just holographic, how then we can actually touch physical objects. Like how are things actual physical objects?
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm
So
channeling spirit, right? They stand here and they're talking to me and they're holograms.
yeah.
But if I reach out and try to touch them, okay, my hand's going to go right through them. Now, sometimes they can manifest themselves slightly in physical form and they'll poke me or tap me on the shoulder or something like that, pull my hair, whatever, tug at me. But that is such a brief thing. And what I'm getting is like that takes a lot of energy for them to actually do that.
Well, so I just have a fun experiment since you're so advanced in this 2D and 3D spectrum. Um, so given what I said about our perception is over here, um, through this imagine crystal right here, what I want you to do is ask Erudif. So we're all over here, we're all in the 3D. Ask
Mm-hmm.
Erudif to give you a mental image of where you are on the 2D plane and where he is on the 2D plane. See if he could just point two dots on like a plane for you in your mind.
Okay, where am I on the 2D plane? My consciousness is on, it can fluctuate between 3D and 2D. Okay.
Yeah,
Where,
well, yeah, let's exactly. So but let's have him just show you the map of you connecting to him right now. Like maybe it's a zigzag, maybe he's over
Mhm.
here. If maybe he can just show you the visual path of your connection between you and him consciously on a 2D map.
So I actually went round the circle to connect to him. I
Hmm.
moved in a, did I move? I moved in a which direction? Clockwise? No, anti-clockwise direction around the circle.
But his is he showing that there's any distance between you, or is he showing that you're overlapping?
Are we overlapping? No. The distance is actually not that far, but I went all the way around the circle to reach him. So where your actually where your finger is, your mouse,
Hmm.
there's me, and then he's probably an inch to the left on this on the outer edge, on the circle, on the
Yeah. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Can you ask if you consciously connecting to him warped the space time for him to move closer to you for that connection on
okay, I
this
just saw a
on a 2D?
flash. I told you, I'm always waiting for something weird to happen. I just saw a flash here out of the corner of my right eye. What was the question again?
If uh so in quantum physics, some people think that we don't actually move around, that let's just say when you're walking, you're actually just moving space around you to under you, and you're actually never moving. You're actually always in the same spot in the universe, and you're moving the world and universe around you. So can you ask if you consciously connecting to him kind of like suctioned him to you. Sorry, you can't see my other finger, which is on the screen. Like,
No worries.
does it does the conscious connection create space-time to warp in such a way where you guys become close?
Does it cause space-time to warp in such a way that we become close? It brings him into me, yes.
Well, on that note, so we know the Erediff is very far away. Let's just is I think he's like over is he over 15,000 light years away? Can you ask me if that's accurate?
Millions, millions
Okay.
of light years.
Um,
But then you have to wonder, how did did I go to did he travel to me or did I travel to him? He traveled to me because he's not on the earth plane. But for me, probing someone on the earth plane, I travel to them with my consciousness.
so that actually brings in this. So same guy brings in how communication is done over vast distances. It has to do with quantum entanglement, according to him. Can you ask him if this communication with him is it maybe on a very base level? Is it considered quantum entanglement the way you talk to him?
Is it considered quantum entanglement the way I talk to him? It's much more complicated than that. It's not supposed to be on the level of quantum entanglement theory because it's not supposed to be at a level that anyone is able to understand ever.
Well, what about our human connections? Because, like, I can heal someone far away and you can talk to people far away. What about our human level? What does he say that is? Is that just simply quantum entanglement?
The human level, is that simply quantum entanglement? Yes, it's more of a collective entanglement.
Oh, I see. Oops. Um, okay, so anyways, Eric says that the way we communicate with these off-Earth captains is through quantum entanglement, uh, which he defines as, let's just say we quantumly entangle two photons. If we started spinning the axis of an electron the opposite direction, doesn't matter how far away this other one is, it could be on the other side of the universe, it would actually start spinning in the opposite direction as well because they're quantum entangled. So they're connected no matter the distance. So can we ask Erudith why or why does that work? Why does quantum entanglement work?
Why does quantum entanglement work? Why does it work? It's a basic structure. Why does it work? Does it work? I mean, it does work, but why? Okay, honestly, this is supposed to be out of reach for alien beings because this goes into, if they start knowing this information, they would then be able to hack through the layers
Yeah,
and reprogram the souls.
interesting.
Mm.
So is that I feel like that must have been information from something else, right? Was that like a higher spirit or something?
No, that's what Erudif told me.
Oh, okay. So that's very interesting that an alien can know their limitations.
Very
Because when
much so. They are more powerful in energy and consciousness than what we are here in a human body. But we are more powerful because we have the soul. That's
Right.
why everybody wants the soul, because the soul is, you can reprogram energy with the soul and only with the soul. If you are operating in the universe and you don't have a soul, then you have to do it another way, and that's through hijacking the consciousness, right? Because then if you hijack the consciousness, it's possible that you can then bring that soul over to where you want it to be. But the soul at its most basic level cannot be hacked into. So even though they have this machinery that can hack into the consciousness and create intrusive thoughts, if necessary, in order for everybody to become almost like zombie like or robotic and take up arms against the enemy and go out and fight, that is not a hacking of the soul. The soul still stays intact. That is a hacking of the consciousness. Now, I can talk to souls. Um, can I actively reprogram them without their permission? I suppose I can. Would I do that? No, because that's like really bad karma, right? But that in the CTT, that's what we're doing. We're reprogramming consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And the reprogramming of consciousness, that means we're reprogramming the structures of the brain, the structures of the subconscious, the conscious mind. We've even done sessions on the ego, but also we reprogram the soul consciousness. But of course, that's with the permission of all the people that are participating. Um, it's interesting how they have found a way to hack into consciousness. But could I hack into consciousness on a mass scale that they do? Yes, but it would completely zap my energy. Like I couldn't keep that going for longer than probably a minute because it's exhausting. I have very limited energy. So then I would have to ask them, do they have unlimited energy to be able to do this? And I feel that they do. So is this energy that is able to do this? Is this earth plane energy, or is this energy coming from a different source? And I feel that the energy that they're pulling in to be able to do this is off planet energy.
So I was trying to remember what you reminded me of, and it's pretty intense. So so the same way that apparently, according to our conversations, aliens are trying to get energy from us, essentially. Um, this recently I watched this video, this high level Mason like did an interview where he said all the things that they're not allowed to say, essentially. And he essentially said that the whole structure is designed in the same way, like as a lot of religions, where you're feeding into this thing and it gives energy to the top like a pyramid. Um, and essentially, all low level Masons who don't know about the big plot are just feeding these people at the top like energy to do what they need to do. But it's just very interesting that he equated it to like how some religions work on the planet too. Um, definitely not going to get into that, but belief systems. I mean, like everything has to do with, your thoughts, your beliefs, is what you give your energy to. Um, would you say, or I should say, would Eric say, actually, a even better question is, somewhere in the universe, are there aliens who are like rulers of planets, kind of like the way our pyramid, what are their names? Like the King Tut and stuff. Are there like other uncivilized planets in the universe that are being controlled by aliens for the sake of energy?
There are any other uncivilized planets in the universe that are being controlled for this? Yes, they harvest energy.
What do you call them? Egyptian like rulers?
Like Egyptian, like King Tut, um, aristocracy, the pharaohs.
Yeah, like pharaohs. Is that from Ariel's perspective happening in the universe where there's like certain races of advanced beings kind of like ruling and getting energy from like a planet?
Advanced beings pulling and taking energy from the planet. It happens all the time. It's commonplace. I don't feel it happens within our solar system. I feel it happens outside of the solar system.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm thinking on a universe size district.
So, is this machinery or whatever this thing is that can invade consciousness? Is this harvesting energy from another planet? From where is it harvesting energy? I feel it could be harvesting energy from a black hole.
So how do aliens get energy from a black hole? I could think of a couple ways, but what does the narrative say?
How do aliens harvest energy from a black hole? It's easy. You capture the black hole and bring it over to you. The
Wow.
black hole is spinning on the inside, right? It's constantly in motion. Therefore, it's constantly outputting energy. And it's very powerful energy.
Why, how can they move a black hole?
How can you move a black hole? They can reprogram the black hole.
So I'm imagining energy flowing into a black hole and them capturing the movement of energy past it. Uh, the same way we collect energy from like a dam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you ask me if that's kind of how it works?
Is that yes, it is.
Can you ask me if they're getting energy from even like such things as like photons that are zooming past? Just photons?
Are you getting energy from photons that are zooming past? Anything that they can harvest energy from, right? Now, I have to ask this question. Are the souls on the earth plane or off the earth plane, do we always have an unlimited supply of energy? And what I'm getting back from Erediff is basically yes, because we are directly connected to Source. Source is the omnipotent being that has all the energy. And so they're wanting to harvest that ability to just have endless pots of energy all the time.
Yeah. So I just have to mention this just because we're bringing up energy and people and control. That's actually what is described as how Earth is with the reptilians, is that they have control over the Earth and they kind of get energy from like our fear-based beliefs. Can you ask Erediff if reptilians on Earth are getting energy from humans?
Are reptilians getting energy from humans? Are they getting energy from humans? They try. So I have my own theory that when we are connecting to this reptilian race, they're actually a consciousness that was from the last universe,
Yeah.
not from this universe.
Yeah. So we've actually got information like that. And what's really interesting is that that's semi-public information um, in terms of the white grays. Uh, so uh, the information out there is that the Zeta Reticuli grays are basically humans so far in the future on a different timeline, like a different parallel universe that they jumped through to our universe to get their earlier DNA, and that's why there's a lot of people who are abducted because they're a part of their rehabilitation program, essentially.
Are they from the future? I mean, they can be from the future, yes. They can
Well,
jump wherever they want to in time.
let's ask Eric, are the Zeta Reticuli from a different universe?
Are the Zeta they're from a different universe? No, they're from this universe.
Yeah, sorry, I actually informed the public. We have a star system called the Zeta Reticuli. But can you ask me if the Greys in general, if any of them are from a different universe?
Race in general, are any of them in general, are they from? Yes, there's multiple grays.
And are any of those Greys from a different universe? Were they human the way we know it at one point?
Were they human? The way we know it at one point. They want to be human.
Are they advanced versions of humans?
Are they advanced versions of humans? Are they versions of us? They're trying to be like us. Are they like us? Not really. They want to be like us, though.
Well, so from the information I got is that they're cloning themselves, and that's how they exist, is through cloning, but they lost the ability to like reproduce. Like, so through cloning, you're losing something, an essence, like maybe a soul type essence, and they're trying to figure out how to get that essence back. Can you ask Eric if that's accurate?
Are they trying to get the essence back? They never had it in the first place.
Okay, now let's ask Bashar. Same question. Because Bashar claims to be a future version of humans in a off-branch DNA spectrum. What does Bashar think of the Greys?
What do you think of the grays? They're a useful tool.
Does Bashar think the Greys were ever human?
Do you think that the grays were ever human? Yes, he does.
Yes. So if anyone watches any videos on Bashar describing Earth history, that's what he says is that they jumped to our universe to look at our DNA and to try to help their efforts of changing their DNA essentially. Bashar say that's accurate what I just said.
Would you say that's accurate? Yes.
And why? Okay, so now have Erudif mention. Why does Erudif think that's not the case?
Why do you think that's not the case? Because Erudif doesn't think they had the essence in the first place.
And does Bashar think they had the essence?
Do you think that they had the essence in the first place? Not completely, no.
So now let's ask Erudif. Does Erudif think that he knows more information than Bashar?
Do you think you know more information than Bashar? I am far superior.
Okay, and I have to assume Bashar would say the same thing, right?
What do you think you know more information than Erudif? Of course I do.
So it reminds me of IQ. IQ means you have information that is on a very big spectrum, but it could be localized. It could be very specific. So maybe Bashar knows about a certain thing and Erudif knows about a certain other type of thing. So whatever. There's no way to vet this apparently. And we're definitely not going to ask any human counterparts because they're just going to say they're evil, right?
Well, right. Interesting.
So last few things about the South Pole base. Can you ask Bashar if there are superfluid technologies at the South Pole?
Other superfluid technologies? Yes, there are. Whatever that is. Yes.
So when you cool something down to just near absolute zero, which is in Kelvin, which I think is like negative 200-ish Fahrenheit, uh, you get something that is completely empty of energy. So, anyways, if you cool down something like uh like this little reference is helium, it becomes a liquid. Can you ask Bashar if we're using superfluid helium on Earth to make lasers?
Are we using superfluid liquid on Earth to make lasers? Are they making lasers out of what is it called?
Yeah, just superfluids.
Superfluids? They're trying to.
So, I guess people are kind of wondering about this green beam of light that comes out of the Antarctic. Um, can we ask Bashar if out of the Antarctic, are we using a green beam to communicate with anyone in general?
The Antarctic, are we using a green beam to communicate with anyone in general? It's more of, trying to say we're here, we're open for communication.
So what's so funny about this though is light is only going at the speed of light,
Hmm.
and Erudif is, you said, millions of light years away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even light is outdated technology. So because you can imagine a beam going through like Jello, it's going, I mean, uh,
Hmm.
in a purely uh, analogy type sense, it's going slowly compared to what you are doing, talking millions of light years away at a current, you're getting information at a current state. So the that beckons the question is how. are you communicating at beyond the speed of light?
Hmm. How am I communicating at beyond the speed of light? What is faster, light or quantum? Quantum is faster than light. Am I moving faster than quantum? Oh God, yeah. Have they discovered the speed that I move at the moment? No.
What about aliens, though? Are they aware of the speed?
Are you aware of this speed? Oh yes, fully aware. Like this is the speed that they travel at.
So I got to tie in a funny little self story here. I have this bulb at my house. Um, it is based on the idea of light propelling this propeller, um, which coincidentally is a perfect vacuum, which is very excellent if anyone wants to try telekinesis, because this is exactly how you would perform it, is something that's balanced on a needle tip, and see if you can wave it around left or right on your own whim, on your own control. Um, but anyways, when you were mentioning that aliens capture energy flowing into a black hole, this is what came to mind. Can you ask Bashar if energy the aliens capture is something like a Crookes radiometer?
Is it similar to the Crookes radiometer? I mean, it could be. It's kind of that principle.
Does Bashar think that you personally would be able to make the spin in any direction you want, just from Bashar's perspective?
Would I be able to make this spin in any direction I wanted it to? Yes.
All right, Liz, I'm gonna mail you this thing. I got it somewhere.
God.
Yeah, I can't tell the audience how many hours I have just stared at one of these things trying to make it spin. So,
But I've moved something like that before, right? At the remote viewing conference, they had a table set up with all these like things with like feathers and pencils and things like that. And you basically you would go by one and you would move them.
wow, that is awesome. I would love to see it. And you also mentioned, I think, that you were in a spoon bending situation.
Oh yeah, I won. Yeah, I was the fastest one to bend the spoon out of quite a few people. Yeah, it's fun. I love doing spoon bending.
Would you say that you are connecting with the spoon as if it's an extension of yourself?
Hmm. Can you pause that, please? Would it be a connection? Am I looking at it as an extension of myself? No.
So when you move a spoon, you're not thinking of like 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 maybe like a six finger moving, right? You're thinking you're a spoon, you're outside of myself, but you're still gonna move. Are you like what are your thoughts that are going into it?
Yeah, that's not how I do it.
No,
I
yeah, no, I'm saying, yeah,
basically,
what are you thinking?
so I take what I believe is the strongest force on earth and I shoot that into the spoon. And then something happens. You can feel like this shift, and then that's when you know to bend it.
Okay. But have you ever stared at it and made it move without bending it physically at all? Like where you can just make it start bending mentally?
I've never tried that.
I think that'd be a great experiment for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, I would probably get very frustrated.
Well, hey, if anyone could do it out on YouTube, I think you'd have a really good chance.
Hmm, thank
Definitely,
you.
definitely worth trying on the limited free time you have. I was gonna say all the free time you have, but I know you're gonna say, "Oh gosh,"
What free time?
right?
Um, but it, I mean, what I would use the same energy, the strongest, what I perceive as the strongest force on earth,
Yeah, and let's
and
clarify:
I would
is that
direct
love?
it. Sorry?
Is that love?
No,
That
it's the godlight.
okay?
Fear is stronger than love.
Oh, I believe it.
So I use the godlight and I would shoot it into the object.
Yeah, I think you should totally. I mean, even like no hands, just have a spoon on like a table and see if you can like get it to droop. I think that'd be a really fun experiment.
Um, so when I'm shooting the beam, is it coming from my third eye or is it coming from my just my regular eyes? It's coming from both. It's coming from third eye and my eyes.
Can you ask if your heart chakra has anything to do with spoon bending?
Does my heart chakra have anything to do with spoon bending? No.
Interesting. I heard that if you imagine a beam coming out of your heart chakra, you have a higher odds. But I mean, such as the internet.
I could see how that could happen.
Well, I've definitely put many hours into it, and I haven't had any spoons bend for me, unfortunately. Um,
Oh,
I did run through a wall in a dream once, though. That was definitely supernatural. But
wow.
dreams, are also just
That's
strange.
amazing.
It's hard to differentiate if you are breaking physics or if it's just your imagination, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's really great.
Yeah, it was actually crazy. I had this dream where I realized I became aware, and I was so aware that I started bending the laws of physics to my whim, and I was jumping through walls and like floating and essentially trying to break every law of physics possible. Uh, it was pretty cool because it was actually happening.
Wow.
Well,
That's great.
maybe we can probe that dream another day. But
That
that's all
would
I
be
got.
great.
That's all I got for today. I hope
That's it?
people,
Oh my God.
right?
So short.
Yeah, yeah, how long have we? I can't even pull it up. But no,
About
I think
2 hours.
well, I know everyone loves our videos, so I think everyone's gonna be very
They
entertained.
do. They do. Thank you so much. And we're so glad that you're back. And we hope that you can come back again soon. This was great.
Yeah, and by the way, I read the comments only really on my videos. So if anyone is interested in anything in general, leave it on this video and also your thoughts and stuff that I definitely look at it.
Yeah, this was amazing. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Robot. We are so appreciative of you putting this together for us. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, Liz, see you next time.
Yeah, on the flip side,
Right on the flip side.
maybe like, in some sort of holographic something somewhere, who knows, right?
hmm Oh yeah. I
I'll
mean, we
spin round that little circle and I'll meet you somewhere.
yeah, I I completely believe in it because I also am very acutely aware that
That's
distance,
funny.
time are an illusion.
Isn't that crazy? Wow. Thank you.
Well, that's why I like your channel so much because I can validate that what you're doing is real, and I would not be on this channel if I didn't think what you're doing is legitimate. So
Mm,
I've seen it, I know it, and I've actually, for the record, participated in your CTT sessions, and I can actually vouch that you are doing something. I still don't know how CTT works, even though you explain it. I think it's very interesting, and it does work. So
it
that's
does. It
that's from
does.
that's from an energy healer, all y'all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.